Hello friends, the topic for today is supply contracts. It comes under two-stage sequential supply chain. It consists of two entities, a buyer and a supplier. What are buyer activities? Determining how many units to order from the supplier and placing an order to the supplier so as to optimize his own profit. What are the supplier activities? Reacting to the order placed by the buyer and making made-to-order policies of the company. What is risk sharing? There is always a risk involved in supply contracts. In the sequential supply chain, buyer limits his order quantity because of the huge financial risk. Supplier takes no risk. Supplier would like the buyer to order as much as possible. And since the buyer limits his order quantity, there is significant increase in the likelihood of out of stock. If the supplier share some of the risk with the buyer, it may be profitable for the buyer to order more and reducing out of stock probability. Supply contracts enable the risk sharing. Now, what is buyback contract? Seller agrees to buy back some unsold goods from the buyer for some agreed upon price. Buyer has incentive to order more and therefore supplier risk clearly increases. If increase in buyer's order quantity decreases the likelihood of out of stock and compensate the supplier for higher risk. Now, what is revenue sharing contract? Buyer shares some of its revenue with the supplier in return for a discount on the wholesale price it offering. Buyer transfer a portion of revenue from each unit sold back to the supplier. Other type of contract includes quantity flexibility contracts, in which supplier provides full refund of return that are unsold items, as long as number of returns is no larger than a certain quantity. Sale rebate contracts. It provides a direct incentive to the retailer to increase sales by means of a rebate paid by the supplier for any item sold above a certain quantity. Now, next is payback contract. Buyer agrees to pay some agreed upon price for any unit produced by the manufacturer but not purchased. Manufacturer incentive to produce more units, and yes, buyer's risk clearly increases. Increase in production quantity has to compensate the distributor for the increase in risk. The next is cost sharing contract, in which buyer shares some of its production cost with the manufacturer in return for a discount on the wholesale price. It reduces effective production cost for the manufacturer. Now, next is long-term contracts. It is also called forward or fixed commitment contracts. Contracts specify a fixed amount of supply to be delivered at some point in the future. Supplier and buyer agree on both price and quantity. Buyer bears no financial risk and buyer takes huge inventory risk due to uncertainty in demand and inability to adjust other quantities. Next is spot purchase. Buyers look for additional supply in the open market, may use independent e-market and private e-market to select suppliers. Focus. The focus of spot purchasing is using the marketplace to find new suppliers and forcing competition to reduce product price. Thank you.